Am I centered enough for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey guys, and welcome to our review of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. I'm your host, Cinder Blaze. With me today we have...
Strange words.
And Makotoa.
Alright, welcome back guys. Or especially Michael, because this is our second time recording it, but we decided to postpone it just so Jordan can join us for
Oh,
this.
Yeah,
For
that's
this
definitely
joke.
what we did.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100% true.
Oh man, this was a episode that I loved and hated at the same time. And like there was like a very clear distinction with the two fights. I felt like um, the Arya and Sarada fight was one of the worst looking fights I've seen in this series. And when I was first watching this episode with my brother, the second Arya's face showed up, like with that shitty looking mask, I'm like, I told my brother, I hate this dude because every time he shows up on screen, the animation goes to shit. And oh my god, I hated being like right that entire time. I was like, wait, is it actually just gonna get worse? And it just kept on just being like the worst fight like imaginable. Like that's the worst Uchiha fight that you've ever animated in like
That was
the
so
Naruto
bad.
franchise. Oh man, what do you guys think about that fight in particular?
Hey, terrible character fight, doing a terrible fight, and you know, I think for a moment when I was seeing them actually fight with kunai versus sword, I thought like, is this a PowerPoint presentation? Because I can count
Yeah.
the frames on one hand
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
that
then I
was
hate
just
that like the show almost tries to like forgive it or like explain it away. Yeah, I could tell with those, your mechanical behavior that something was up. Like, no,
that's not
no,
even
hell
can't
no.
even.
Don't pretend.
It's like, oh yeah, this is totally legit. Yeah, we're totally not.
The frame rate's all because he's not really there. It's just a puppet. Oh yeah.
Wait,
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That's
like
garbage.
yeah, none of those movements were actually like mechanical at all. And like in our first recording of this review, Michael and I were kind of like comparing this fight to the first fight that Kankuro had, because he was the first puppet user we've
Yeah.
seen in the
Yeah.
Naruto uh, universe, and holy crap, that was like amazing. The puppet was like super creepy and it looked really strong.
Yeah, and it had that cool like clickety clackety down the trackety noise.
Yeah, and,
Like,
and like his stupid puppet decides to make that noise just by cricking his neck a couple of times. It's like, I'm a puppet clearly, and like
yeah,
I
but we
can't
didn't
even
even have
tell.
that. It's like all the cool sound effects from Naruto is gone. I know it was supposed to be a surprise, but
I mean,
it's
for all
not,
we know, oh, go ahead.
it's not a very good surprise.
no. I
Like,
thought he was like just blind or something. Like I think that's what you were throwing around, Alex. But
yeah,
it just it's revealed, but it's another just failed reveal of a power that they just wasted. Naruto did it so much better in those fights where it's like you weren't sure what the enemy did, and it was kind of a cool like, oh, what does he do? How are we gonna find out? This just is. It happened with the execution of trash.
yeah,
Worse, like I don't know. This is
yeah. Like there was a lot of stupidity, just kind of like getting like thrown around. Not thrown around. There's just like a lot of stupidity in the fight. One of like my main gripes was like Sarada has the Sharingan, so she should be able to see the chakra lines. Like out of all the
yeah,
people, like she would be
yeah,
able to see it like or sense it the most. I know like her Sharingan is not like as developed as you know it should be, but
Sasuke.
yeah, and it kind of took her some focusing to like actually see it. I just wish that like that wasn't really a thing from the get go. It just feels like she had the Sharingan the entire time, so we're just kind of like waiting for that thing to happen. And like one thing I did like from the fight at least was when she kind of does discover that he is a puppet user, and she just like shoots the electro ball
yeah.
like off into the audience, and she shatters like that one part of the roof that he was standing on and kind of disables the puppet down below. Like in that scene, like I remember getting kind of confused. I'm like, wait, what did she do? She missed the thing, and he's just like on the ground. Like,
Yeah.
did I miss something? And it's like,
Is
oh,
this some sort of new technique?
yeah, I thought she just missed, but apparently he wasn't even in the stage the entire time. And although like Naruto was kind of questioning, uh, is that even legal? Like, shouldn't he be disqualified? And Shikamaru's like, nah. And then Gar's like, quit complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to revise those rules next time. That's what he said.
Yeah, like
That was great.
it was just really dumb from that perspective.
I will say I really hate that they gave him the same like personality quirk as Metal Lee. That's so stupid. Why? Why is that necessary? Why you gotta make him?
We don't have enough quirks to go around, man.
there's
Yeah,
already like you already got that garbage going on, and this character's already plagued by crap animation. Why you gotta make him unlikable too? You know?
yeah. I feel like the only reason that character trait is really annoying is because it's Metal Lee's. And I feel like that type of character trait works a lot better with a puppet user because it would fit like what you would expect from that type of
Someone who's trying to hide behind something else. Yeah.
yeah. Not like, Metal Lee was just something they had to like tack on just to make him unique from Rock Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this guy it fit a little bit better, but like since Metal Lee was just talking in the same voice like 2 seconds before he even opens his mouth and stuff, it's just like, what the
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, you stop being annoying and you
Let's
stop
get to the part of
copying
the
him.
episode we liked. Let's get to that now before our anybody watching this is just like tired of us.
I don't know, I love ranting about that part of the episode, but yeah, you do have a good point. The Shinki versus Mitsuki fight was definitely the highlight of this.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was actually a
it
pretty decent fight.
was. That's where they decided to save all the budget for, apparently.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't complain because it was good.
Yeah, it was,
It was a
pretty
solid
good
fight.
It was one of the best fights in this anime so far, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes, it has been.
Yeah.
But it was good stuff. I won't complain when I see it.
Yeah, and one like the things that kind of separate this fight from all the other fights that we've had in Boruto, well, not all the fights, but especially for the tuning exams, Mitsuki and Shinki had interactions before the actual fight, and it slowly built up. So like there was a lot of tension like between the two when they're fighting, and we knew like the motivations for like each of them. Like Mitsuki's kind of like show up a little bit later in the fight when he sees Boruto kind of Sakura. She's kind of like faded in the background, but mostly
Yeah.
Boruto. And just like, you know what, I could go all out here, but I want to stay with these guys, so I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna complicate things. I have my own reasons for being here.
Yep.
And like Shinki's just trying to be like that representative of Gaara, like, I shall do you proud,
Yes.
father.
Yes. I love that, the two characters are so polar opposites where Shinki is like super serious about the match and Mitsuki is like, this doesn't mean that much to me in the long run.
Yeah.
I
It's
loved
he
it.
doesn't really. Here's the thing, like he doesn't want to win in actuality because like what does it get if he wins? All right, yeah, everyone knows that he's really strong. Goes,
I
what does
think
that
at the
matter?
beginning of it, like he was feeling that competitive drive, but he couldn't do it because he had to hold back, Otherwise he wouldn't be able to win.
Yeah, but then
But
again,
it's
Shinki was
not like-
also holding back. Sorry
Yeah.
if I took your point. I felt like you were about to say that.
No,
and I
yes,
just...
it's fine. And
Yeah.
it worked.
yeah.
I like it.
And I think Mitsuki did say that, like, even if he did go all out, he probably would have lost as well because, I
Yeah.
don't know, Gaara did say that he taught Shinki everything he knew. I mean,
Gaara's pretty OP. Pretty OP.
I want to talk about that brief moment where we got to learn about that magnetism jutsu he was about to throw out, and that just brought back memories. So of how wasted this jutsu type has been in the past. Like we had that one filler where Hinata was facing some dude with like I think it was just a filler though, and it was a magnetic powered. His like ball and chain or something would more or less target the person because it was magnetism. But then later on, we had the actual Kishimoto's, reveal of this kind of power, and the Great Ninja War, where one of those Edo Tensei dudes was like, oh no, don't let him touch you because he'll, have the magnetism tag, and then all of his weapons will always hunt you down no matter what, and you'll die. And then hypes it up, and then just Naruto comes out of nowhere and just destroys him in one shot. But
That was anticlimactic.
it was so to see this jutsu come back in some manner here, and then immediately not get used. That, I guess that's just the trend. I can't really.
I mean, it did get used. It's just like Mitsuki did kind of like do the proper thing to kind of avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I really liked.
The only. Yeah.
And one thing I really liked about it was like how well it was animated. Like when that like lance just goes flying towards Mitsuki, was like, oh, he's gonna die if he gets hit by that. I mean, he could probably do some little snake magic thing, because like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't believe in people like Orochimaru actually getting injured. I feel like they always have an out. So I'm just like,
They always do, yeah.
They're too OP.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like that one little technique where after he gets hit by Mitsuki's lightning technique, kind of disperses his sand, which I think is foreshadowing for the next episode, by the way. When he just kind of like lets his guard open and just like punches him, I was like, that is some really good animation. I'm not like like the animation itself was distracting me from like the actual fight scene, because it's just way better than anything we've had in the series.
We gotta mention that moment where Mitsuki also pulls the Kakashi Sensei.
Oh yeah. Jordan, have you played any of the Clash of Revolution or Clash of Ninja Revolution games?
Yes, I've played one or two.
Oh man.
One or two of them, not number one or two.
Yeah.
What?
That one technique that Kakashi, like a lot of noobs spam with Kakashi, where he goes underground, just like drags you under.
Oh yeah.
Seeing that again in this episode just brought back so many.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Like overall, it was like a lot of nice stuff. We're gonna have a 3-way fight in the finals, and part of me is disappointed because I want a 1v1 against Shinki, but nobody is near his power level except maybe Mitsuki, so no one can actually 1v1 him.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
Too hard.
Nope. So this works. I see where they've gone with.
All right. I think you get the Sage mode Mitsuki with no like full power Shinki. Maybe we'll have a real match, but we won't actually ever get that.
Maybe this like sort of rivalry will continue along in the show, because I can't imagine they're not going to filler this thing up with other stuff outside of the manga, and it won't even necessarily be considered filler because the show started with its own filler, and yet it's canon. So he's probably going to have his own little arc with Shinki in some way, shape, or form, I imagine.
Yeah. Hopefully they use him a little bit more, but who knows? Like, Shinki is also somewhat plot related, because he did have like the markings when we first found him in the flashback we got last episode, or the episode before that. The stuff around his face. It might just be like sand village stuff, but I feel like I don't know. Sometimes markings are a little bit more significant than they seem. So we'll find out in a future episode. Do you guys have any final thoughts for this one?
No, I think that's all from me.
Wait,
it's
no,
pretty
I do have another thought,
right.
And that was during the entire was it the Mitsuki fight? Boruto was like,
oh my god,
dodge Mitsuki. Good job, Mitsuki. All right, return me. Like, what are you, his Pokemon trainer? Like, the whole time, Boruto was like throwing out like commands, like dodge it. Like,
Sarda is his Pikachu, because she definitely used that one move that Pikachu just recently learned in the anime. Like the Electro Ball was just like, oh man, that's a little bit too similar. But I guess
Mitsuki obviously looks up to Boruto in a.
Yeah, he's like the faithful, like Bulbasaur type of character.
Yes.
Yeah, but that actually reminds me of another point. In the Sarda fight, she has some of the Obito genes where she can
Oh
have
my-
this conversation with someone across a great distance, despite
with
the crowd.
lots of noise, over hundreds of people making all this cheering noise, and yet they can talk with their, hello, hey, how's it going? Like,
Yeah, and then what made that scene worse was when Shinky like walks
Oh my
in and starts
God.
talking with like his normal tone voice, and everyone can still hear him despite we still are still getting like the crowd noises. Just like, what is even? How are they
Well,
even
there's a-
communicating?
There's another instance when Mitsuki like surrendered and freaking Rock Lee comes down and he's like, "Wait, what did you say, Mitsuki?" Like as if you couldn't hear really. If everybody else can just suddenly hear long distances like this, and yet you couldn't hear him say, "I surrender," Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rock Lee being the one person who can't hear people across distances.
Yeah. It's just like quirky stuff that's obviously
It's just
plot holes.
yeah, it's just anime. Don't worry about it.
It's anime.
Yeah.
Anime rules, anime logic.
Yeah, but in Rock Lee's defense, he is aging, and I feel like he's trying to put up that
No.
facade of like youth to kind of like
It's not true. His
yeah,
youth
he has
still
he's lost hair. He wears a toupee.
No,
I'm
he
pretty
Wait,
sure
what?
he does.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't.
What?
Yeah, when that one shockwave of hair hit, he was holding on to his hair like it was gonna fly
Oh.
off.
No, it's the
No.
bad animation, Alex. It's getting to you. It's not true, okay?
We'll see.
Yeah,
if,
that's really sad if that's the case.
No,
Like of all people.
of all people.
yeah,
please.
that's the person who would have it.
Oh,
All right. With that note, that's it for us. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that other jazz down below. Check our description for our social media links and maybe that Discord link as well. And oh yeah, in the comments down below, tell us if you think that Rock Lee is actually aging and has lost his hair and is wearing a toupee, because I really think so. And if I'm right later on, I'll feel good about myself.
Oh my god.
Well, that's it from me. We'll see you guys later.
Later.
See ya.
And outro.
You should like, you should go into the Boruto like subreddit and like post that as a theory and with screenshots. This is obviously foreshadowing of Rock
Of
Lee
freaking baldness.
losing his youth. He can't hear in the episode from long.